June 4th, 1940. The oily, black water of the Dunkirk harbor. Oro 3 Bjark M. The air is a toxic cocktail of salt, burning oil, and the stench of human terror. Major Alistair Humphrey, of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment, grips the freezing cold rail of the destroyer HMS Vimy. He is safe. He is one of the lucky ones. He looks back at the beach, lit by towering columns of black smoke. The miracle of Dunkirk. He wants to be sick. His battalion, what is left of it, is huddled on the deck below him. They are not the proud, professional soldiers who marched into France. They are refugees. They are ghosts, their faces hollow, their uniforms in tatters. He does a quick, professional inventory. His men are missing their helmets. They are missing their webbing. They are missing their packs. And they are missing their rifles. He watches a private, a 19-year-old from Birmingham, stumble past, clutching the only thing he managed to bring back from the continent, a single, dented tin of bully beef. Alistair does the math in his head, a grim, automatic calculation. His battalion, roughly 800 men, has 40, maybe 50 rifles among them. The rest are at the bottom of the channel, or, more likely, piled in neat, surrendered stacks on the beach for the Wehrmacht to collect. They have left it all behind. Bren guns, mortars, trucks, tanks, an entire army's worth of equipment. They have saved the men. They have lost the war, as the Vimy's screws bite, turning the ship towards the sanctuary of Dover. Alistair looks at his empty, oil-stained hands. He is a soldier with nothing to fight with, and he knows, with a sickening certainty, that the enemy he just ran from is coming. July 10th, 40. The War Office, Whitehall, London. The air in the cabinet room is stale. The maps on the wall are terrifying. General Sir Edmund Ironside, Commander-in-Chief of Home Forces, is not a man given to panic. But his report is blunt. We are, to be frank, naked. He gestures to the map of Kent. Operation Sea Lion. The German invasion is massing on the French coast. 80,000 battle-hardened troops, thousands of panzers, and to meet them. Ironside continues, his voice a low growl. I have this. He throws a stack of photographs onto the polished mahogany table. They are not pictures of soldiers. They are pictures of civilians, men in armbands, drilling on village greens. Their weapons are not rifles. They are pikes, hastily forged by the local blacksmith. They are golf clubs. They are, in one absurd, tragic photo, kitchen knives taped to broomsticks. This is the Broomstick Army, the local defense volunteers, soon to be the Home Guard. This is all that stands between the Wehrmacht and London. The army we brought back from Dunkirk, Ironside says, is an army in name only. We have fewer than 100 tanks in the entire country. We have ammunition for perhaps 2 days of sustained fighting. If they land tonight, he doesn't need to finish. The silence in the room is absolute. We need weapons, a minister states, his voice thin. Whatever the cost. August 1st, 1940, a procurement office, London. Whatever the cost turns out to be a very specific number. A slick, fast-talking American salesman, smelling of cigars and opportunity, has just laid his prize on the table. It is the Thompson M1928 submachine gun. It is beautiful. Blued, machined steel, rich, polished walnut furniture. It is a work of art. A Chicago typewriter. It is heavy, reliable, and terrifying. It is also, in a war for national survival, a complete and total fantasy. $200, the salesman says, with a shrug. Cash on the barrelhead. You're Mr. Churchill's cash and carry policy. I'm afraid. The British procurement officer, a man named Colonel Thorpe, feels the blood drain from his face. $200. In 1940. That is over $4,000 in modern money. He does the math. For the price of 100 Thompson submachine guns, he could buy a Spitfire. And they don't need 100, they need 500,000. Now we are buying gangster weapons. Thorpe mutters to his aide, at a king's ransom, and the Americans know we're desperate. Britain is being bled dry, not by the Luftwaffe, but by its own allies' invoices. They are shipping their gold reserves, brick by brick, to North America, just to buy time. The order is given. They will buy the Thompson. They have no choice. But as the order is signed, Thorpe knows this is not sustainable. This will not arm an army. This will not arm a nation. September 15th, 1940, RSAF Enfield, England. The Ordnance Board meeting is not going well. The Battle of Britain is raging in the skies above them. They can hear the distant, dull thump of anti-aircraft guns as they talk. The Thompson is too slow to build. It's too expensive to buy. The M3 grease gun from the Americans is still just a prototype. We have nothing. The room is filled with Britain's best and brightest engineers. Men who have built the Lee Enfield, the most accurate bolt-action rifle in the world. Men who build things with precision, with polished wood and machined steel. We need a new paradigm, a brigadier says, slamming his fist on the table. I am tired of quality. I want quantity. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it's comfortable. I want a bullet squirter. I want a gun I can make in a bicycle factory. I want a gun I can make in a garage. I want a gun that costs £2. The room scoffs. £2. Less than $10. It's impossible. A rifle bolt alone costs more than that. But in the back of the room, two men are not scoffing. They are sketching. Major Reginald Shepard, a quiet, thoughtful designer, and Harold Turpin, a brilliant, practical draftsman. They work at Enfield. They are not artists. They are not gunsmiths. In the traditional sense, they are pragmatists. They are looking at the brigadier's request not as an insult, but as an engineering problem. A bicycle factory. Shepard mutters, sketching. The receiver. It could be a simple tube, like a bicycle frame. And the stock. Turpin adds, forget wood, waste of time, a bit of bent pipe, a metal plate, welded. No screws, Shepard insists. Screws take time. Stamps, welds. That's it. They are designing a gun that is not a gun. They are designing a tool. They are designing a weapon that has been stripped of everything, except its ability to kill. It is ugly. It is crude. It is, by every standard of the Enfield factory, a piece of junk. It is the answer. It is the Sten. March 5th, 1941. A cold, windswept training ground. Aldershot, England. Major Alistair Humphrey. His battalion, now re-equipped with a motley collection of American M999-17 rifles, leftovers from the last war, has been ordered to test a new weapon. A young ordnance officer, his face alight with a false, practiced enthusiasm, holds it up. Alistair just stares. This is not a weapon. This is a collection of parts. It is, quite literally, a tube of steel, like a scaffold pole, with another, smaller tube, the barrel, shoved into it. The stock is a T-shaped piece of bent metal. The trigger guard is a simple, bent strip of steel, crudely spot-welded to the bottom. This, the officer says, is the Sten gun, mark. Alistair takes it. It's light, flimsy. It rattles. He can see the rough, scaled metal from the welding. It looks, a sergeant next to him whispers, like something my plumber made. The name sticks. The plumber's nightmare. Alistair shoves in the 32-round magazine. This, at least, looks familiar. It's a direct, almost stolen copy of the magazine from the German MP40. He pulls the cocking handle, a simple, rough knob. He aims at the target. He pulls the trigger. Brr, brr, ack, click. It's a full auto blast. The gun bucks in his hands, inaccurate as all hell. He pulls the trigger again. Click, it's jammed. You have to load the magazines carefully, sir. The young officer says, his face flushing. No more than 30 rounds. And tap them. It's a stench gun. The sergeant mutters, coining another nickname. But the worst part is the safety, or the lack of it. The only way to make it safe is to lock the cocking handle into a small, stamped notch. A hard jolt, a drop, and the bolt can slip. A hard jolt, like, say, jumping out of a trench. Soldiers begin to tell horror stories. A private in Catterick dropped his Sten. It went off, fired its entire magazine, spinning on the ground, killing his corporal. It is a gun. The soldiers believe that is just as dangerous to the user as it is to the enemy. Alistair hands it back. It's a bloody disaster, he says. Yes, sir, the officer replies, his face grim. But it costs $9, and we can make 10,000 of them a week. You'll have your first shipment by Friday. Britain has no choice. The Luftwaffe, in the Blitz, has just bombed the RSAF Enfield factory. They've also bombed the BSA factory, which was making the last of the expensive Thompsons. The Sten is now the only option. Production is farmed out. It is a gun designed to be built in pieces by people who do not know they are building a gun. The Linesbrothers Toy Factory, makers of Triang brand tricycles, start stamping the receivers. A Singer's sewing machine plant in Scotland makes the stocks. Garages, plumbing suppliers, and backyard sheds are all given contracts for small parts. The result is variable. The first Sten Mark IIs are a nightmare of rough edges, burrs, and sloppy welds. The magazines, copied from the German design without understanding why it was designed, that a double-stack, single-feed system, are a disaster. The lips of the magazine, which control the bullet, are easily bent. A tiny dent, a bit of mud, and it jams. It is a cheap gun, and it feels cheap. It feels, as one soldier wrote, like the first crude, evil-smelling, and unreliable gun in the world. The British soldier, trained on the beautiful, reliable Lee Enfield, hates it. He sees it as a symbol of Britain's desperation, a symbol of their defeat. September 1941, Long Branch Arsenal, Ontario, Canada. The telegrams from London have been arriving for months. Need Stens. Need millions. The Long Branch factory, just outside Toronto, is one of the most advanced arms manufacturing plants in the world. It is a Canadian government arsenal, staffed by men who are not just workers. They are toolmakers, engineers, and craftsmen. They are currently building the immaculate, high-quality Bren Light machine gun. A crate arrives from England. Inside is a British-made Sten Mark X. The Canadian engineers, led by a man named D.M. McLeborday, gather around it. They pick it up. They look at each other. Their reaction is not one of military need. It is one of professional insult. "My God," one of them says, running his hand over a weld that looks like a pigeon dropped it. They're actually issuing this? They are ordered to tool up, to make an exact copy. 100,000 of them. Immediately. The Canadians refuse. Not the order, but the quality. "We will not," Leborday writes in a memo. "Put the Long Branch stamp on. This, if they are going to make it, they are going to make it right." It is still the same simple 9-part design. But the Canadians obsess over the details. They don't use the crude arc welding of the British backyard shops. They use high-quality, clean spot welding. They deburr the parts. They tumble the bolts, making them smooth. A smooth bolt doesn't snag. It doesn't jam. They improve the stock, making it a stronger, skeletonized version that doesn't wobble. They add a foregrip for better control. And most importantly, they attack the magazine. They know it's the weak point. They can't redesign it. It has to be interchangeable with the British ones. But they can perfect it. They use better steel. They use better springs. They test the feed lips on every single magazine. The result is still a Sten. It is still a simple, crude-looking $9 gun. But it is a Canadian Sten. It is a plumber's nightmare built by a master craftsman. The bolt slides with a smooth, oiled shing. The magazine clicks into place. It doesn't jam. It doesn't rattle. It is, as one British officer would later write, the Cadillac of Stens. February 1942. A secret SOE base near Beaulieu, England. A man known only as Colonel Gubbins is inspecting a new shipment. He is the head of the Special Operations Executive, SOE. His job is not to arm armies. His job is to set Europe ablaze. He needs a weapon for his ghosts, for his spies, for the electricians, teachers, and farmers in France, Poland, and Denmark who are fighting a secret war in the shadows. He needs a weapon with a very specific set of characteristics. It must be cheap. So cheap, you can drop 100,000 of them and not care if you lose them. It must be simple. So simple. A farmer who has never held a gun can learn to use it in 5 minutes. It must be small. Small enough to be hidden in a sack of coal or under the floorboards of a Citroën. It must fire German ammunition. The 9mm Parabellum, the most common pistol round in Europe. So his agents can kill a German soldier and resupply from his corpse, and it must be quiet. The Sten is all of these things. But the early British models, they jam, and a jam in a dark alley in Lyon is not a problem. It is a death sentence. Then a new crate arrives. It is stenciled. Long Branch, Ontario, Canada. Gubbins picks one up. It looks the same, but it feels different. The finish is a smooth, Parkerized gray. The stock is solid. He works the bolt. He loads the magazine. He test fires it. Thwack, thwack, thwack. It doesn't jam. He fires another, and another. It does not jam. But there's one more thing. The Sten's barrel is held in by a simple, screw-on nut. Gubbins' weapons designers at the SOE have created something special. They have created a silencer. A simple, 14-inch tube that can be screwed on in place of the standard nut. They screw it onto the long branch Sten. Gubbins fires. The crack is gone. The only sound is a low, mechanical foot, and the sound of the empty cartridges hitting the grass. This is it. This is not a soldier's gun. This is a saboteur's gun, an assassin's gun. The ugly, cheap, despised plumber's nightmare, perfected by Canadian craftsmen, has just become the single most important weapon for the entire European underground. July 10th, 1943. A dark, moonless night near the village of Chartres, France. 01:30 a.m. Antoine crouches in a wet ditch. He is 45 years old. 3 years ago, he was a history teacher at the local lycée. He was a man of books, pipes, and quiet intellectual debate. Now, he is a terrorist, a leader of the Maquis, and he is listening. He is listening for the sound that has become the sound of hope. A single, low-frequency, desynchronized drone. The sound of a moon squadron, Handley Page Halifax, flying illegally, 300 miles from its base in England. His companion, a 19-year-old farmer's son named Pierre, grabs his arm. I hear it. "Shut up," Antoine hisses. The drone gets louder. It is low, dangerously low. The pilot is navigating by moonlight, following a river, trying to stay below German radar. Antoine stands. He pulls a torch from his pocket. He flashes it. ... V for Victoire. He waits, a tense, agonizing second. And then, from the blackness above, a reply. A single, green-shaded light. ... They see us. Antoine breathes. A plume of steam in the cold air. Light the fires. Now. Pierre and 2 others run to the preset piles of straw, dousing them with gasoline. They light them. 3 fires, in a perfect L shape, burst into the night, marking the drop zone. The Halifax, a vast black shadow, passes overhead. Its bomb bay doors are open. But it is not dropping bombs. Here they come. It is not a sound of violence. It is a sound of promise. A series of soft, metallic thumps from the belly of the plane, followed by the sound of rushing air. Antoine looks up. The sky is suddenly full of silk, 6, 7, 8 parachutes, blossoming in the dark. They are not white. They are black. "Spread out! Find them!" Antoine yells. "We have 15 minutes before the SS patrol. 15 minutes!" He and Pierre run, stumbling over the hard, plowed earth. They find the first one. Not a man. It is a long, metal cylinder, 8 feet long, padded with a shock-absorbing nose. A C-type container. "Get the wrench." Pierre fumbles with the clips. He is shaking. This is his first drop. The container cracks open. Inside, packed in thick, black, reeking grease, is a jumble of metal. Pierre pulls out the first piece. He is disappointed. "Antoine, what is this?" He holds it up. It is a simple tube of metal, with a handle. "It is a Boche killer," Antoine says, his voice grim. It is ugly," Pierre says, running his finger over a rough weld. "It looks cheap." Antoine takes it from him. "It is not a rifle, you boy. A rifle. You cannot hide. It is not a Thompson. A Thompson we cannot feed. This," he says, with a teacher's precision, "is a tool. and it is perfect. He grabs the other two parts, the barrel and the skeleton stock. Look. In 3 movements, he shoves the barrel into the receiver, twists the locking nut, and clips the stock into place. Clack, clink, click. It takes him 10 seconds. From a piece of pipe to a weapon. Now, can a Boche patrol see this? He breaks it down again and shoves the 3 pieces under his long woolen coat. He is just a farmer, walking down a road. It is invisible, he whispers. And this, Antoine continues, pulling a magazine from the container. He holds up a single, brass-cased 9mm round. This is the true genius. This is the Boche 9mm Parabellum, the same bullet as their MP40, the same as their Luger pistol. He looks Pierre in the eye. We are not an army. We have no supply lines. This means every German we kill, every patrol we ambush, resupplies us. But do they work? Pierre asks, his voice full of doubt. I have heard. They jam. Antoine smiles a cold, thin smile. He turns the weapon over and scrapes the grease off the receiver with his thumbnail. He shows Pierre the small, stamped marking. Long Branch, Ontario, Canada, the British ones. They jam. Antoine says, the ones they made in their toy factories. But this is a Long Branch. The Canadians. They are craftsmen. This one works. A month later. A different mission. A cafe in Lyon. 09 a.m. The city is bustling. German staff cars line the street. A Gestapo Obersturmführer named Baumann is at his usual table, by the window, drinking his coffee. He is a fat, comfortable man. He has sent 40 members of the resistance to the interrogation cells at the hotel terminus. He is a desk man, and he is a monster. A thin man in a beret and a long, dark coat walks into the cafe. He does not look at Baumann. He walks to the bar, orders a coffee. He pays. He turns. He walks past Baumann's table. There is no sound, no bang, no shout, just a series of coughs. Fut, fut, fut. The Gestapo officer's chest blossoms with 3 neat, dark red holes. His coffee cup shatters in his hand. He slumps forward onto his copy of Pariser Zeitung. The man in the long coat does not run. He walks. He places his cup on the bar and walks out the door. He is gone. The waiter, a man who has seen everything, stares at the body. He looks at the door. He can still smell the faint, acrid smell. It is the smell of a weapon. But there was no sound. In an alley, 2 streets away, Luke breaks down his weapon. It is a Long Branch Sten, but the standard barrel nut has been replaced by a 14-inch cloth-covered silencer. The Sten Mach-2s. The plumber's nightmare has just become the Gestapo's nightmare. It is an assassin's tool. The Germans are now the ones who are terrified. They are no longer fighting a defeated populace. They are being hunted. They are being killed in bars. They are being killed in their cars. Their sentries are found in the morning, dead at their posts, with 3 9mm holes in them. The terrorists are invisible, and their guns are silent, and they are everywhere. A Wehrmacht patrol, searching a farmhouse for a terrorist cell, finds a crate of them under the floorboards. Look at this Schrott, the sergeant says, holding one. Scrap metal. It is pathetic. He works the bolt. It is smooth. He checks the markings. Long branch. He checks his own MP40 magazine. It fits perfectly. He is not an idiot. He understands. The enemy is now using his own ammunition against him, and their guns are free, falling from the sky. The weapon is so effective, so brutally simple, that German high command pays it the ultimate compliment. In 1944, engineers at the Mauser factory are given a captured long branch, Sten. Copy this, the order says. Exactly. They create the Jarrett Potsdam, a perfect 1.1 clone of the Canadian Sten, right down to the forged, incorrect British proof marks. They are trying to create a deniable weapon for their own commandos, to be used behind Allied lines. The Wehrmacht is now copying. The plumber's nightmare. The airdrops are no longer a trickle. They are a flood. The SOE and its American counterpart, the OSS, are dropping tens of thousands of Stens a month. The Maquis in France, the Armia Krajowa in Poland, the partisans in Yugoslavia, in Norway, in Denmark, in Greece. An entire continent of secret armies is being armed with this one. Simple, cheap, Canadian perfected gun. It is the weapon of the people. It is the gun that allows a history teacher to become a terrorist. It is the gun that is about to change the war. June 5th, 1944, 21:15 p.m. A command bunker, 50 miles inland from Normandy. General Major Karl von Rundstedt, an operations officer for Army Group B, stares at the map of France. He is a man trapped in a logistical nightmare. He is not, like his superiors, obsessed only with the coastline. He is obsessed with what is behind him. His map is covered in small, angry red pins. Each pin is an act of sabotage, a cut wire, a murdered sentry, a rail line under repair. The terrorists, the Maquis, are no longer a nuisance. They are a threat. They are an army. He dictates for his report. An invisible army. We estimate perhaps 30,000, 40,000 armed men. And they are armed. With this, he holds up the weapon. It is a crude, gray, metal tube, a captured long branch Sten. Our patrols are ambushed, he continues, his voice grim. They are killed in their trucks, the enemy. They do not engage. They execute. They appear from the shadows, spray a magazine of our own 9mm ammunition, and vanish. They are ghosts. He slams the Sten on the table. If the invasion comes, this invisible army will be a knife in our back. He doesn't know that. 200 miles away, in London, the knife is about to be twisted. June 5th, 1944, 21:30 p.m. BBC headquarters, London. Antoine, the history teacher, huddles over a crackling, illegal wireless set in a cold, damp barn. He is listening to the personal messages broadcast. It is 99% nonsense. Coded phrases for different cells. Then he hears it. The one he has been waiting for 2 years. Le dé est sur le tapis. The die is on the table. Antoine's blood runs cold. He looks at Pierre, who is no longer a 19-year-old boy. He is a 20-year-old veteran. It is time, Antoine says. He walks to the back of the barn and pulls up the floorboards. The drop from last month. It is not one container. It is 5. He pulls them out. The long, greasy, metal tubes, the magazines. the small, cloth-wrapped silencers, the long-branch Stens. His cell is not just 3 men. It is 30. Farmers, bakers, the local postman. They are not an army. They are a plague, and they have their orders. Pierre, you take the rail line. Plan vert, cut the main line between Paris and Caen. Do not just blow it, hold it. Hold it? Pierre asks. With these? Yes. Antoine says, ambush the repair crew, kill them. Then ambush the next repair crew. I do not want that line repaired for a week. Luke, he says to the man who assassinated the Gestapo officer, you take your team. Plan Violette, the telephone exchange in town. I want all wires to Germany. Cut. And Antoine says, strapping 3 magazines to his own belt. We'll take the bridge. Plan Tortue, June 6th, 1944. 01:15 a.m. A stone bridge over the Orne River. Antoine and 5 men move through the darkness. They are silent ghosts. They are all armed with the silenced long-branch Stens. 2 German sentries are on the bridge. They are cold, bored, and 18 years old. They are smoking cigarettes, looking at the water. They hear nothing. Not a snap. Not a click. Just a series of coughs. Fut, 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 fut. The 2 sentries collapse, their helmets clattering on the stones. They have been stenned. Antoine and his team run forward. They are not soldiers. They are saboteurs. They are carrying 50 kilograms of plastic explosive. They run to the central pylon. They set their charges. They are not discovered until it is too late. An alarm sounds, just as Antoine lights the fuse. They run, not for cover, but for the darkness. The explosion lights up the sky. The bridge is gone. June 6th, 1944. 8:30 a.m. A railway embankment near Caen. Pierre and his team have blown the track. Now, they are waiting. They hear the truck, a German engineering patrol. The truck stops. 10 engineers pile out, their rifles slung, and stare at the twisted rails. Right, Pierre whispers, his hand gripping the cheap metal grip of his Sten. Now, brr, ak, brr, ak. 10 long branch, Stens open up from 30 yards away. It is not a battle, it is a massacre. The 9mm rounds scythe through the night. The German engineers are cut down before they can even unsling their rifles. In 15 seconds, it is over. Take their ammunition, Pierre orders, and wait. They will send a train. June 6th, 1944. 0400 a.m. General Major von Rundstedt's bunker. The reports are a flood. The General Major is staring at his map. It is no longer just pins. It is dead. The main phone line to Berlin. Cut. The line to Rommel's HQ at La Roche-Guyon. Cut. The bridge at. The rail line. Every rail line. From Paris. From the south. Is cut. We have reports of 900 separate acts of sabotage in the last 3 hours. And a panicked aide says, running in, we have just received word, General. The Allies are landing in Normandy. Von Rundstedt's face is white. Get me the 2nd SS Panzer Division, Das Reich. Get them moving from the south. They must counterattack. But he knows. He knows it is too late. He knows that for Das Reich to get from the south of France to Normandy, They must cross 300 miles of territory. Territory that is no longer his. Territory that is controlled by 100,000 ghosts. Ghosts who are armed. Not with rifles, but with cheap $9 Canadian-made submachine guns. The plumber's nightmare has just armed the Maquis. And the Maquis, they are holding the back door. The Shadow Army is no longer in the shadows. It has struck, and it has struck hard. June 10th, 1944. A dusty road near Toulon, central France. The column of steel is stalled. Again. This is the 2nd SS Das Reich Panzer Division. The elite, hardened, fanatical counterpunch that Hitler is counting on to drive the Allies back into the sea. And they are stuck. A Panzer Grenadier, a young, battle-hardened veteran of the Eastern Front, crouches behind his half-track. He is used to fighting partisans. He is used to brutality. He is not used to this. They are everywhere, he mutters to his squad leader. It is not a single, large ambush. It is a death by 1,000 cuts. A sniper, with an old Lebel rifle, pins them down when they send a squad to flush him out. Burak-ek-ek. A burst of 9mm fire from a farmhouse window. 300 yards in the other direction. 3 men go down. By the time the squad gets to the farmhouse, the shooter is gone. They find only a handful of hot, brass 9mm cartridges. A half-mile down the road, another burst. A motorcycle courier, a vital link, is Sten off his bike. Every bridge is down, every rail line is cut, every telephone wire is severed. The Das Reich Division is not fighting an army. It is being hunted by a plague. It should have taken them 3 days to get to Normandy. It will, in the end, take them 17 days. 17 days of being harassed, sniped, ambushed, and delayed by Antoine's invisible army. By the time they arrive at the front, the beachhead is secure. The battle is lost. The knife in the back that General Major von Rundstedt feared, it had been shoved in and twisted by tens of thousands of terrorists armed with a $9 gun. July 20th, 1944, a liberated village near Caen, France. Major Alistair Humphrey, the British officer who had first tested the Sten, is exhausted. His battalion has fought its way, yard by bloody yard, out of the Normandy bocage. They have just liberated this small, shattered village. The villagers are emerging from their cellars, weeping, cheering, offering them wine. And with them is another group. They are men in civilian clothes. But they are not civilians. They wear tricolor armbands. They are led by a man in a tweed jacket who looks like a history teacher. It is Antoine, and they are all armed. Alistair's sergeant, the one who had first called the Sten a plumber's nightmare back in 1941, just stands there, his mouth open. He nudges the major. Bloody hell, sir. Look, Antoine and his men are stacking their weapons in cooperation with the British. And the pile is Stens. Dozens of them. Gray, crude, simple tubes of metal. It's a bloody infestation. The sergeant mutters. Alistair walks over. He picks one up. The finish is clean. The welds are neat. He checks the stamp. Long Branch, Ontario. He looks at Antoine. The teacher nods. A gesture of respect between two very different kinds of soldiers. Alistair, the professional soldier, had been armed with the beautiful, reliable $150 Lee Enfield. Antoine, the ghost, had been armed with a $9 pipe And in that moment, Alistair understands. The Sten was never a gun for him. It was never a gun for a set-piece battle. It was a gun for this. A gun for the man who had no uniform. A gun that could be hidden, airdropped, and used to kill the enemy with his own ammunition. The gun that soldiers laughed at was the gun that partisans had used to free their nation. The Sten gun was, by every classic measure, a bad gun. It was inaccurate. It was uncomfortable. The early models were dangerously unreliable. But it was not a gun. It was a concept. Its cheapness was its genius. Its simplicity was its lethality. It was the perfect weapon for the other war. The war in the shadows. And it was the Canadian craftsman at the Long Branch Arsenal who had taken a desperate, crude idea and turned it into the reliable weapon that could win that war. They had taken the plumber's nightmare and perfected it. By the end of the war, over 4.5 million Sten guns of all marks had been produced. A staggering 1.5 million of those were the high-quality, reliable weapons built in Canada. It was dropped into France, Poland, Yugoslavia, Denmark, Norway, and Greece. It was used by the Maquis, by the Armia Krajowa, by Tito's partisans. It was the gun that soldiers despised, and the gun that armed an entire continent of ghosts. It was the cheap, ugly gun from a toy factory and a Canadian arsenal that, in the hands of 500,000 secret soldiers, helped win the war for the entire European underground.